picks a map. He picks Akalon Wastes, and he likes air, so I'm not terribly surprised by this, but I'll go ahead and introduce our player in the top left. It is the green Protoss player. He did fall in game number 1. Needs to win this one to keep it from going to a second best of 3 right off the bat. He is the winner's bracket player. His name is Melle of Team Lowland Lions. And in the bottom right we have...
In the bottom right, we have the player who sees the first game after some neat tech switching. It is, of course, the very, very known Ret, of course, spawning as the red Zerg and representing the beloved Team Liquid. And we do see another Forge Flag expand from Melle, and you did say that, well, if you want to go Skytoss, if you want to sort of do what you did last game in the position of Melle, or Melle, you wouldn't mind playing on Akalon Waste. This is a very good map for it. So we just have to wait a couple of minutes to see if that is actually his intentions, and I wouldn't be far too surprised if that was the case.
Yep, and yeah, I just don't see... I mean, seeing how he played in the previous game and the map he picked, I don't see him doing anything else unless he's just like trying to like out mind game Ret in some way, shape, or form, and so it goes for 2 base all in out of nowhere. But if I'm guessing that I'm trying to remember back to when I cast it before. Actually, no, that was Wings of Liberty, so it couldn't have been Sky Toss. Actually, I don't know. That was so long ago. I don't remember when that was. Never mind. I'm gonna stop trying to remember things. I'm awful at that. But I'm expecting the same thing here from Melle, and maybe some more Void Rays this time around, depending on how many mutas Ret makes. Obviously, just would help out a bit maybe against those ground units and try to do more actual damage to like the economy of Ret this time around.
Yeah, definitely. Ret's economy was so untouched for a very long period of time there. We're seeing some nasty probes sticking around here, finally going into block that hatchery just when Red actually gets those 300 minerals, and that's just so nasty. Doing a fairly good job at that as well.
Yep, indeed. And, well, we do see that Nexus go down. Nexus first into forward. No surprise here from Melle. And then, well, this probe is still being obnoxious, and Red's just like, come on, man. I just want my hatchery.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting too far, man. That's just too much. And they're finally get placed down. That was pretty annoying, too. I'm sure your Zerg feels are a bit hurt right now.
Yeah, no. Hatchery blocks and cannon rushes are just like, make me sad. Make me sad, man. Not brilliant.
Yeah.
And, well,
it makes me happy, I must admit, but I do completely relate with that. We're seeing sort of the exact same opening from both players. Going to have that third once again coming down from Red fairly early on, the sort of standardish third versus a Forge Fast Expand. And the only thing left to say is, I was a bit worried right there. We only saw one gas for a couple of seconds right there, but Melle follows up with the second gas, yet again just indicating absolutely standard play.
Mm-hmm. And basically we'll see how soon he decides to drop that Stargate down, if that will be his path of tech once again. Cybernetic's core on the way now, so shouldn't be too far away. We saw him go for Stargate right off the bat after that core in game number 1, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And yep, so Ret will be content to just take his 2 hatcheries like you said, and sit back and, well, here we are. That downtime once again rears its ugly head.
Yeah, I know. We've had... I don't mind casting PVZs, but if there's any drawback, it's definitely the Forge Fast Expands. I would just love to see more Gateway expanding. I think it's absolutely... It's so much more fun, I think. You know, it's sort of like any opening, actually, where you can sort of expect the not only outcome, but you can sort of expect what will happen in the couple of minutes, following the very initial tech structures or whatever. But at least we have stuff happening. In the Forge Fast Expand, we literally have very little things going on, but perhaps Melle is switching up a bit of what he does. Chrono boosting out that Stalker, actually. Think he wants to... No, actually, he rallied Outwatch. I thought he was going to kill that Overlord, but it turns out he's not.
And there is that Stargate once again, and I believe I actually did have that Chrono boosted Stalker in game number 1, too. Just try and get him on the map as quickly as possible and poke around and see what's up. Yeah, and the Zealot can run towards that third base, and maybe try to pick off a drone or 2 here. Well, right now there's only 1 drone to pick off, but drone's pretty fast, and Zealots are pretty slow. So good luck with that one, Mr. Zealot.
Yeah, and the links on creep are just fast enough to probably kill all. Well, actually, a bit sloppy not using all of the links there, and maybe if you put yourself in a choke... Oh, looks like that Zealot is actually going to go down eventually. There we go. And Queen versus Stalker, that sort of paves the way for a fairly good... well, I mean... It doesn't really go well for his Stalker, so to say. And the Red is actually droning heavily right here, so he's not at all afraid of this one puny Stalker.
Red droning heavily? I don't know. I don't think I ever expected
what a
that.
shocker. Let's make a Reddit post and upvote it, guys. That would be a good circle jerk post, I must say.
We will see the Void Ray post, the Void Ray first again here from Melle. So once again, going to start out with that, and then maybe I did actually like that little push out that he did in that first game because he basically took that fourth base for free, pushing out with that. I mean, it wasn't like the biggest investment of all time, but a couple of Void Rays and no real response just took that base out very quickly. So let's see if he does that again. But also, I want to see how quickly Ret reacts and maybe adds on those fourth and fifth bases yet again if he plays it the same way he did in game number 1.
Yeah, I must actually admit I have no clue what happens when these rock towers fall on top of buildings. And I fear that might... Yeah, because, you know, the gateways are sort of in the way of that, aren't they? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think it falls just to the left of them. I don't think they're actually in the way. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm not sure about the specific hexes, but I think they're okay.
Alright, I was a bit... Because, I don't know, maybe it's auto-destruct right upon that, but... Hopefully not for Melle, at least. He is going precisely as you call the exact same strategy, and he is killing off the... I think this third is actually... I consider the third to be quite early for being Bell Series stage, but this is almost borderline standard third here in PvZ, considering the fact that it's Acadon waste right here. And I would expect that upon this being scouted, and maybe it already has. No, it has not been scouted. Ret should ideally find out about this fairly soon. Unless he's planning to make some quite aggressive play.
He's researching drops.
Oh, that's... I like that,
aggressive.
I must admit. I really like that. That is aggressive indeed, at least if you use them for, well, its intended purpose when they were implemented in the game. And I would love to see drops. Drops are so... I mean, not necessarily underused, but you don't see them often. It's really fun to see them. A couple of links here streaming across the map, but the Void Race probably has enough DPS to... stop any ground units from going down. And it looks like the fourth is going to be poked, but little does Melle know that the fourth has been taken on another location.
Yeah, Ret's created a little rear deviation in his plan here, where they're going for their Overlord speed and drops with Hydras. It's kind of thrown him off a bit, but he also has Hydras a lot earlier than he did in game number 1. Going to force the recall back, so nothing really lost there. So nice little defense by Ret. Had the Hydras out much earlier this game, able to push back that force instead of losing a base to it like he did in game number 1. 2 more Stargates actually just finishing up for Melle, so he's definitely going Sky Toss all the way, and I'm very curious to see how effective Ret's drop play is going to be here in a second once that Overlord speed and drops are finished. Curious to see what he wants to do.
Yeah, I really would hope he waits for the Hydra speed before he decides to dedicate far too much into drops. Could be quite worrisome if you end up being off creep with Hydras. And actually, wow, he's looking like he's going towards that third, but he is not really going loaded up with units. Maybe he's actually gonna drop just straight over this small ridge. I thought maybe he was gonna go all the back, you know, into the main or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's going to go straight for the third, it looks like, and I like this idea. It's not that well defended. And, well, here come the Overlords, and Melle's going to be like, what is even happening? And, I mean, I don't know how you really deal with this. I mean, he has a bunch of Void Rays, but there are a bunch of Hydras coming in here. One of the Overlords actually using dropping, should probably do that. There we go. And Hydra's starting to go to work here on those Void Rays. And how many Hydras are actually even here? There aren't actually that many Hydras actually featuring the drop. Those mostly Lings, and actually, Lings in the main base, but all the Hydras do fall. Overlord's going to be chased out by these Void Rays, but the Lings are going to work in the main, killing a fair number of probes. And I'm not. This push is kind of just so weird. I don't really know how to call who comes out on top in these sort of situations. This Fleet Beacon goes down, that would be one, but no. Zealot Warpin should deny that. So
yeah,
Workers killed is not very much. So Ret invested a lot into that, and well, the drops didn't really do that much. Looks like he's considering round number 2 here in a second.
Yeah, I would want to see some splitting up, trying to drop left and right, and then trying to escape. Of course, the Void Rays are, I mean, fairly good at killing Overlords, I guess. They are armored after all. Oh, looks like he's actually gonna try to bust this natural, but I think there's almost as many Void Rays as there are Hydras, basically. Despite the fact that Hydras trade so well, this force will probably die eventually. Maybe he trades fairly well, actually, but definitely not well enough. As you pointed out, Ret is not in a good position right there. The dropping into the third did not work out at all, and he doesn't really have the economy to back this up. He's only on 66 draws. This is unlike Ret, I must say. And I'm not really sure what he plans to follow this up with. Is he gonna use that Spire? Is he gonna try to drop once again?
I don't know. It's the drops. with how close like on maybe a map that's a little harder to turtle on, the drops may have been a bit more effective. But I mean, the army is always so close to all three of these bases. Drops are just not going to be as effective, especially with overlords who are a lot slower than speed medevacs. If I have to comment on that, but Ret, he does have 2 more bases now, so he is on a total of the 5 hatcheries at this point in time. So he can try to drone that up if he wants. I think that's a better idea. Maybe apply maybe a little bit more pressure at the front, try and poke in, keep this 4th denied. But well, actually, I'm going to be able to run into some links, and that's a little bit annoying there. Actually, if you get the Cybernetics Core, that'd be a pretty nice pickup as well, and shutting down that upgrade. But instead, he's going for picking up that Void Ray, and well, that doesn't really achieve that much. And the Tempest now in play here. And well, Hydras, it's kind of hard to get underneath those Tempests with their absurdly long range, with the Void Rays buffering up from front. But
actually, that's quite a bunch of Hydras. Oh, they really get a couple of Void Rays, almost getting that 3rd one. And wow, the Void Ray number is sort of not really being produced to the extent I was expecting to see. Tempest on the way, but they're not going to output too much. Their damage output is ever so low, and now only 3 Void Rays out. I'm not sure we can actually. I'm not really sure Melle is in that great of a position any longer. He definitely does get the economy he wants. He gets that 4th base he never had on Belshire, and that might be well enough for him to start producing out some additional Void Rays.
Yep, and well, yeah, the Tempest decision. I mean, they do outrange the Hydras, which is nice. But like you said, the DPS just really isn't there. Dark Shrine on the way, actually, which that could be an interesting little addition there to the composition if Ret doesn't really bring detection to these fights. But is that another? Oh, we're gonna see another drop attempt. You just drop 3 Hydras in the back of this base. Oh, Ret.
Oh, that's the type of harass I'm talking about. However, 1 Zeld and 1 Cannon probably going to stop that well enough, and it's not a medevac, but it can still do some, I guess. And these 2 Hydras may be gonna cut away 1 or 2 probes before the 2 Void Rays take care of them. Or actually, there's gonna be 4 Void Rays pretty soon.
Yeah,
look at that Ling run by.
And he tries to pull it up, but the Tempest do force it back. And well, once you get enough Tempest, the range, DPS isn't great. We have enough of them. It's just they can maul you from a range. Not particularly great against Zerglings, killing them very, very slowly. But the Zealots will come by and help out as well. And yeah, I just sorry, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting you there for a second, but we are having a tremendous amount of Mutalisks being produced right now, as well as the +1 armor following the +1 air damage. And, you know, with this Skytos army moving out straight onto creep, I'm pretty sure that Red has made the proper tech choice right here. No Phoenixes at all, and this many Mutas, how many are there? There's 31. They're gonna go in and they're absolutely they get the Mothership Core, no recall at all. And
clutch move by Red. That's a lot of dead air units that you just invested a tremendous amount of time and money in if you're Melle, and that can't feel good.
Yeah, I'm really not satisfied with the choice here to go Tempest. They accomplish absolutely nothing damage, right? These Zealots, however, probably gonna get this 5th base from Ret, which is always something, but at this point in time, I have absolutely no clue what Melle is gonna do. He just lost his entire Skytos army, which he's been working so long to try and accomplish. Are we gonna see some DTs left and right, maybe? Archons would do fairly well straight up versus these Mutas, but I have a hard time imagining even more. You know, a lot of probes are going to go down. That's basically what I want to say. A lot of probes will go down to these Mutas if we ever see it even come to that.
Well, Archon's pretty against Mutas, and he was able to make those from the DTs, but there's just not enough Archons to really do the trick. And the Phoenix can do what they can, but the Corruptor is obviously just so annoying to deal with until you get that range upgrade. Actually, did they have range yet? Did you research that? Yes, he did. So he does have that range upgrade on the Phoenix, but Corruptor's dealing with them while the Mutas go for the McWorker line, and Ret's in a commanding position here. I mean, I don't see any way he loses this one. He has a billion drones. By a billion, I mean 106. So, well, he can remake anything he ever wants, and yeah, he's in a very, very good position right now. And probably just going to go ahead and basically kill all the probes in the map and win the game almost at this point.
Yeah, 106 is a billion if you round upwards, and you know, it's not far too surprising Ret would get a billion drones, because that is sort of what he is known for, I guess. And there we see Melle going up with a Grat instead of a GG, but probably not BM intended at all. Melle really succumbing to the Muta switches nowadays. The first game went a little bit better versus the Muta specifically, but the second game, I think he was completely caught off guard.